Greetings and salutations. My name is Seldon. I'm a top 10 platinum player of Axis and Allies Online 1942. Purpose of these videos is to give you some overall strategies, tactics to enable you to pretty much achieve constant victory in the game and destroy your enemy. So put your feet up. I'm going to do maybe less so much full games played. There's a lot of those online, but maybe just I'm hoping to do a dozen or so videos on various tactics and strategies. A lot of people play the game completely wrong or make the same errors, it seems to me, over and over again, or not playing efficiently. I want to try and encourage players to play efficiently, and I'll do a series of videos, each one highlighting a various aspect. So put your feet up. One of the things that I often do, I crack maybe 5 or 6 raw eggs in a glass before I play a game, down those with some gingerbread, and gets me going for the game. But you put your feet up, grab a coffee if that's more your thing, and we'll talk about, in this video, economics. So just a little bit of history. So I'm currently 5 last season, so it's 23 wins, 2 losses. One of those was I fell asleep and timed out. The other one I got, I lost, I think, almost every, maybe save for 1 or 2 units in Russia's first turn. Absolutely a 0.01% chance battles, and it was just a bit hard to recover from. Generally don't lose those. Last season, a lot of work stuff on. I didn't play a whole bunch, but 7 wins, 0 losses. The season before that, 15 wins, 1 loss as Axis, 16 wins, 1 loss as Allies. And what was I again? 23 wins, 2 losses this season. And that's playing against a lot of other top 10 platinum players as well. So anyway, so the purpose of this one is to talk about economics. Overall theory. I'm going to go through about 5 or 6 different things just about game economics. Now, so why are we talking about economics? The number one error that a lot of players make is that they think this is primarily a military game, and it's not. It's primarily a logistics and economics game. So consider this. This is the first principle. This is an economics game. No matter what, and I care very little about individual battles, just to give you a little bit of an idea of how I sit on these things. I don't care. It's nice to have a win, but if I lose, that's fine. I'm just trying to work out the overall economics. I'm much more strategically minded, I find, than a lot of other players. So sure, we can have an individual win or loss. A lot of the times that won't make a huge difference unless it's a battle about removing a blocker, from some tanks that can get through to Moscow or something like that. Overall, the general theory is this: if we can outproduce the enemy, we will win. If your allies, consider this: if Germany is producing often 10, 11, 12 units per turn, if I can be producing 12 units from the US, that's instantly negated the German production. And that's quite easy to do as the US. And we want to ship them as quickly as and efficiently as possible, up to Europe. If in addition to those 12 units, the UK is also producing 5, 6, 7, 8 units, and also landing there, instantly we have an advantage, and Germany is bound to lose in the long run. Okay, so try and think of it more overall in those perspectives. How can we, generally involves just trying to keep Russia from drowning from the Axis wave in the first 7 or 8 turns. But if you can do that, the overall stream of Allied resources will guarantee you victory if you're playing that way as the Allies. If you're playing as Axis, your strategy is more to try and defeat Russia quickly before that stream of units comes in. So that's principle number 1. Consider the overall builds and production. So I often even go in and look at what they produce. So what did Germany produce? Germany produced on this turn 7 infantry, 1 artillery. Now I know that if I can outproduce that, and that's very easy, I've got 10 American units about to land in France, so we've already negated the German advantage, and then looks like another 6 units from the UK. Germany is already in some major, is at a major disadvantage this turn. And if we can keep that up and outproduce them 4, 5, 6 units each turn overall, a couple of units perhaps also from Russia, then long-term Germany can't sustain that. Second principle, let's disrupt logistics wherever we can. That even reduces the amount of units we need to produce further. So if there are any opportunities to disrupt logistics, I'll take them. Consider a battle like this, for example. This is a 50-50 battle. It's an aircraft carrier, aircraft battleship, and 2 transports here that they've landed in Burma. I can attack with a submarine, 2 aircraft and a bomber. It's a 50-50 battle. The calculators are telling me that it's got a sort of 10-12 point advantage in my favour overall when they do the battle sort of 10,000 times. But most importantly for me is that these transports are just so vital. If I can get the 50-50 battle and destroy 2 transports for Japan, I've instantly negated 4 infantry coming onto the mainland next turn. So try and think of it overall in those overall economic terms. That's what I'd strongly encourage you to do, rather than being so caught up on individual battles. So whatever you can do to disrupt logistics is good, and sometimes that involves not only destroying transports, but if you can force them to, say, one thing you can do sometimes is the US, say, capture, say, something like Papua New Guinea or one of these ones. Even if it's for a turn or 2, you're often diverting a couple of Japanese transports down there, which just really interferes with, really reduces the number of troops that are getting onto the mainland and diving at Moscow. So consider that. And flip side, my third principle is conduct your logistics as efficiently as possible. So one of the things I really encourage players, I'm going to do a separate video on this because it's just so important, is making sure your logistics are efficient as possible. So for America, I generally in most games have 5 transports going back and forward, 5, 5, 5, 5, or if you can get into France, even better, 5, 5, 5, 5 transports. That's 10 units being dumped here every turn. So many players that I see don't use transports efficiently. They'll have 7 transports sitting here with 3 troops here or something like that. It's an absolute waste of transports, and it's just very inefficient. They're great to have. It's so beautiful to have these transports up here too, because you're threatening so many units, even Germany itself, with those. So it forces Germany to pull units back to defend Germany, and it's just a wonderful thing. But you've got to do it efficiently. So I'll do a separate video on that, on how to work out how to do it efficiently and how to make sure that you're getting the right number of units, say to Eastern Canada is where it's usually done from in Sea Zone 10. How to do that efficiently to make sure you're not doing it, you're not wasting units or wasting ships. Next principle. So we've talked about the overall. Just make sure you're out producing. Second principle is get them there efficiently. Disrupt the enemy where possible in getting their units efficiently onto the battlefield. And this is really the battlefield. It's central. It's Central Asia is the main battlefield in high-level play. Next principle is then conducting your battles efficiently. Right? It doesn't matter if you're getting 10 troops over here, but you're just wasting them on stupid battles. So we want to have larger stacks. Look at this stack, for example. It's a combination of all sorts of things just to make it hold. But I know that'll hold from the calculators. And when we do battles, we just want to make sure that those battles are efficient. So you can use a calculator to make sure the battles are efficient. Try not to take inefficient battles. If I have to take a 50-50, if it's got a good chance of a 50-50 chance of really disrupting their logistics, we'll do it. But generally speaking, we want to run efficient battles and make sure the battles are in your favor. Even if, it's no point even winning a battle if you've gone down 20 IPCs because you've used aircraft or something like that to destroy their infantry. General principle with that too is, let's talk about the sort of battles that generally make sense and are generally efficient battles. Efficient battles are generally ones that use an overwhelming percentage of force. For example, if I can use, say, 9 or 10 units against 3 units, for example, I've got a very good chance of destroying all those 3 units in one turn. 3 infantry are likely only to hit one, on average, they'll hit just 1 unit back. So I've destroyed 3 for 1, right? Because they only get 1 turn back. They'll hit 1/3 of the time as an infantry. So there's a lot of advantages to using overwhelming odds in a battle. So let's talk also about when to advance. So the next principle is advancing when you can. So if I can take, let's talk about, say, a light capture of the Baltic states. If it turns out that I can take a territory, obviously take it. It's always worthwhile taking a 2-unit territory with 1 unit, with 1 infantry at least. The 2 IPCs that I get from the victory will pay for the unit pretty much anyway. I'll get 2 IPCs back, and there's a good chance that when they come in to try for a counterattack, 1/3 of the time they'll hit. So they're going to get an IPC from that as well. But on top of that, you've also disrupted. They're forced often a lot of the time to counterattack, which disrupts their positioning of their units. They often have to attack with 2 or 3 units to take out your 1 unit to be sure if they really need to capture it, which again disrupts their stacks. They can't blitz through it, they can't land aircrafts there. So there's a lot of advantages to capturing units, territories, even if lightly. The ideal is if you can capture it strongly, then you're denying it to them. So you're not only winning 2 IPCs, but you are also denying the enemy 2 IPCs. So it's an overall advantage of 4 IPCs. So I generally, for that reason, like to keep my front lines as forward as possible. And you'll see that here. I could have held West Russia, but I worked out that I could take Belarus. And so you're forcing the front line forward. I've denied that 2 IPCs to them as a result, and gained it for myself. So it's worth an extra artillery piece a turn for me. And the other advantage is if you're forward, you can often capture surrounding territories as well. So it's probably worth 6 or 7 IPCs or 10 IPCs even perhaps by moving my front line forward each turn, which will overall again win you the game. So that's I'll do a separate video on this because it's so important on when and where to push. It's so important. But just don't waste units. There's also a lot of wastage of units. You'll see it with people who use a flawed. There's 2 flawed strategies that are very, very common: kill Germany first or kill Japan first. I don't use either, and I'll go into a separate video on that. But generally speaking, I see a lot of people who go with the kill Germany first strategies. They have like 20 ships or something here in Sea Zone 3. Why? I guess they think they're just somehow using them in support of the attack on Germany, but they're just basically wasted units. Japan, conversely, often we see a vast Japanese navy just sitting here, not really doing anything. If you've got units, use them. Otherwise, they're wasted units and they're not worth anything in the battle. So that's generally the type of strategy I'd suggest. Think about it as an economic strategy. If we are capturing 2, last point too, if we are capturing 2, try and minimize the counterpunch. Counterpunches can be vastly inefficient. So, for example, let's talk about this battle here. I could take that pretty easily with these units here. There's 3 units, 3 infantry, 2 artillery, a tank. I could move them all in here. But look at the counterpunch, and I'll probably end up with 4 or 5 units in here, but the counterpunch will be just devastating. I'd lose all those units. So often a more efficient way to do it is to take it with, say, maybe 3 infantry plus 2 fighters. The fighters then get out of the way after the battle and they can land somewhere else. I'm only left with, say, 1 unit here rather than 4, 5, 6 units in here that will just get destroyed. Always think about the next battle on, and again, I'll do a separate video on that. So overall, key point, and I think this is probably the key strategy in the game that you need to keep in mind, think of it as an economic game rather than the individual little tactical battles. Overall, if we can be outproducing, and logistically we're getting those outproduced units here, so we're producing more units than they're producing every turn, it's just a matter of time until we will win this game. Even if it takes 20 turns. I had one 39 round game with, I think it was Il Principino, where I was just slowly outproducing him. I could get to a stage where I was slowly outproducing him each turn, and just inevitably, round 39, even if it takes that long, we'll get victory. So overall, just to recap, so let's focus on overall production, efficient transport, disrupting logistics of the other side, conversely as well where we can, shucking efficiently, capturing where we can, weakly if we have to, strong if we can, not wasting units like vast fleets up here or here. Efficient battles where possible, and I'll do a separate video on my principle that I use instead of the Kill Japan or Kill Germany First strategies, my Total War or Worldwide War strategies. I'll do a video on that. Minimize counterpunches. Overall, we're looking at an efficient battles and efficient economics, efficient transport, outproducing the enemy. You're guaranteed to win if you're doing all of those things. So I'll just tell you a little bit about why I'm involved in the game and the next plans for the forward. I love this game. It's such a beautiful game. Beamdob's done a good job of turning it into this online version. I remember when I was a little starry-eyed kid, I found the original version of this game in a board game store back, I don't know, maybe 20-something years ago, maybe. Such a beautiful game. I saw the whole world map there and all the units. Just a beautiful thing. The aircraft and the ships, and I played a lot with my dad when I was little. We'd play on the weekends, and it's just a beautiful family thing that you can do. But also then afterwards, I played with a really good player, a really good friend of mine, Shmuha, who taught me a lot as well. And then online, you can see some great training videos online, TTG and things like that. So, but it's a beautiful game, very much like chess. I'm very much into chess as well, but this game has chess even to another degree or another level. So it's got a lot of complexity in it and beautiful strategy, a lot of similar strategies to chess in the higher levels, and I'll be going through those. So I'll give you a little heads up on the sort of videos that I'm planning to do over the next few weeks or next couple of months. So this first video is on economics, and encourage you to focus on that as the key driving principle of your game. This is primarily an economic game. Next video I'm going to do is just about controlling the center and the importance of controlling the center, which is a chess principle. So these high-level play will be dominated by battle over these sort of squares here. And I'll talk about that and why that's important. So it'll often involve Germans coming this side, Japanese coming from this side, and somehow making it work here. I'm going to be talking about efficient shucking. I'll do a separate video on how to work out how many troops and things you need. Generally speaking, whatever transports are moving and dumping troops, you want to build those same number of units so that they're ready for replenishment when the ships come back. But I'll go into that and making sure that we do that efficiently because it's just so vital. I want to talk about I'll do a video on a couple of principles that are almost borrowed from chess, but they translate just perfectly to this game. The pin, the fork, the can opener, and those types of attacks. I'll do a video on submarine warfare. I'll do a video on Total War, which is my strategy. And generally speaking, I just like to take battles efficiently in the world wherever they might occur. These aircraft, people say, well, I'm just going to put all my forces against Germany. Yeah, but you can't, otherwise you're letting Japan run amok, and you're missing efficient battles that could be clearing out various fighters and troops and transports that will be inevitably just about to hit Russia in a couple of turns anyway. So let's not do that. There's better strategies than kill Japan first or kill Germany first. So I'll want to go through that. I want to talk about Blitzkrieg, very useful type attack when it comes to Germany. So we'll do that. I will do a video on the push mechanic of when to take various territories, on how to generally decide where to attack and when to attack and how strong to attack. And then another video on just the general concept of thinking of the next battle, which a lot of players don't do. They'll take an efficient battle, but then they haven't calculated the counterpunch that's going to come afterwards, and just working out some strategies around that. All right, so this is Seldon signing off. Leave us a comment, subscribe. Happy to answer any questions in the comments that might arise, but this is a beautiful game. Really want to encourage players to get more involved in this, particularly people in the chess field, because this is takes a lot of the concepts in chess to the next level up. I love chess, but I really love this game even more. And I want to just build up players in the community so they're playing really efficient, great games, encourage young players who are starting off and just learning the game. And give myself, I suppose, the selfish motive is I want to try and get some more competition in some of the games I'm playing, so I'm not necessarily winning every game that I play. So encourage you, leave me some comments, and if you want any other videos, I might make a couple of videos as well on some actual games that I'm playing, just so you can see just generally how it works. But that's generally what I'm thinking, and I want to do. I'll at least get those general strategy videos off first, so you can follow those.